Hey everyone, welcome to the Philbrook Football Podcast. There's a lot of stuff going on around the league this week. We're about halfway through the league year, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so we'll get started on some of the scores for this week. I'm joined by Isaiah, of course, every week.
The owner of all the shareholders, me, Isaiah, yes.
He's like 51% of the shares, and I'm 49%, so...
It's false, I own at least 73.
It's debatable. Anyways, there's no shares, so we haven't gone public yet, unfortunately. So if we do go public, you're free to give us money. That's fine.
And also, actual shares, social media shares. It's we don't have any of those either.
Oh yeah, well,
nobody shares our podcast.
I share them sometimes.
I share them too.
And you, yeah.
Because we make it, and we want people to listen to us talk about football.
Yeah, which is great. So.
Because we're smart about football. Gotta trust what we say. I'm 5-3 in both my fantasy leagues. Okay, I know what I'm talking about.
I'm also 5-3, so...
Yeah, but he's a bad 5-3.
I'm a good 5-3.
Anyways,
considering everything I've had to go through this year,
and every year.
Speaking
of everything anyone's had to go through, let's go quickly through these recaps from this last week, starting with the awful, terrible Thursday night game, the Ravens versus Dolphins. Ravens won 40-0.
What I am most impressed with about this game is that after Flacco went out, they still managed to score 20 more points.
Yeah, all of which...
With Ryan Mallett.
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure all of those came from the defense except for a 1-yard touchdown by Ryan Mallett, so...
Yeah, that's true, but still, it's like... I don't know, trying to be funny, I say.
They managed to squeak by the Dolphins either way. So the Ravens are 4-4 now. The Dolphins slumped to 4-3. Next game up is the Vikings versus Browns. This was like a... Was it 6:30 a.m. Eastern time game? It was super early game. The Vikings won 33-16. Go figure.
It was super early because they were in London.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Vikings are 6-2 now, and the Browns are 0-8. Next game up, the Falcons versus the Jets. Falcons won 25-20.
Barely.
But barely again. Jets fall to 3-5. Falcons come to a tentative 4-3. I say tentative every week because
the Super Bowl runner-up Falcons squeak by the preseason projected 0-16 Jets. Oh my god.
Well, like I said, Josh McCown is the truth. All right, 49ers versus the Eagles. Go figure. The Eagles won this game 33-10. 49ers slumped to an awesome 0-8. And I say that because, for an 0-8 team, they've done pretty well.
All things considered.
Yeah, and Eagles are 7-1 atop of the league. Next game up is the Bears versus the Saints. The Saints surprisingly win by 8 points, 20-12. But nonetheless, the Saints go up to 5-2, and the Bears slump to 3-5.
That Bears defense has looked a lot better.
If that offense could do anything, they'd be all right.
Yeah, it just sucks. Their best receiver is Kendall Wright, and he only plays in the slot, so he's only on the field for 30% of the snaps.
Yeah. Well, they did just get Dontrell Inman, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see what they can... yeah.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be great.
All right.
Isaiah, the king of overrating underrated players.
Listen, when you give me an underdog, I'm going to be like, no, he could put up, the biggest of numbers.
Yeah.
Just give him a chance. Kenyon Barner. All right. Chargers versus Patriots. Chargers lost 13-21, but put up a great effort. They just couldn't do it because they're the Chargers. So they slumped to 3-5, and the Patriots go up to 6-2. Next game, Raiders versus the Bills. Coming off of a crazy win against the Chiefs, the Raiders ended up slumping and falling 14 to 34 to the Bills. The Bills are now 5-2, which is sick, and the Raiders are 3-5,
which is also great.
Which is also kind of great. I mean, I wanted them to do well this year in the AFC, but like they were a little overhyped, and so I'm like, okay, this is like the humbling party. All right, next game up, the battle of the I was gonna say the Titans and then the Giants, and remember those are both teams, so I can't really use those as like analogies.
Yeah.
The battle of the beasts, the Colts versus the Bengals. Bengals squeaked by with a 24-23 win over the Colts. The Bengals now go up to 3-4, and the Colts are now 2-6. Oh boy. Next game up is the best game in NFL history, the Texans versus Seahawks. The Seahawks won on a last-minute touchdown to Jim Graham, 41-38, in what was an insane game.
Oh, easily game of the year to this point.
Yeah, I mean I don't know if there's going to be... It's going to take a lot to top a game like that. That game was... And we are Seahawks fans, but like... Literally everyone around the league was like, this was the game of the year. Like,
yeah, I mean, the only competition this game has is the Chiefs and Raiders game last week, which was like a great game.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of the off the field, or not, maybe off the field isn't the right term, but all the other stuff that was surrounding this game, Deshaun Watson getting his first test against a real NFL defense, or at least an elite NFL defense,
right.
And all of this stuff going on with the Texans owner being like just saying subtly racist crap and just like being a general piece of crap. There's just all this stuff surrounding the game, and it just like brought the game to another level. It was awesome.
Yeah, and also just like Seahawks have been dominant against rookie quarterbacks. I mean, since I think it was since 2002, rookie quarterbacks are like I think 2-10 against Seattle when Seattle's playing at home. And I think those 2 wins were from Andy Dalton. Who was the other one?
Matt Damon. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who it is.
I don't remember who the other one is. I know it was Andy Dalton was one of them.
I don't know this stat.
But either way, I mean,
I know they're really good against rookie quarterbacks. So,
and then it was also like Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson are very similar players. So it was like, okay, let's see what happens here. And Russell Wilson was like, all right, you're good and all, but this is my turf.
Let me show you what you could become.
Yeah.
With just a few years of patience and miracle water.
Because, Russell Wilson kind of took this team and was the offense. Because there was no running game but him on like 2 scrambles. So, either way, Seahawks go up to 5-2, and the Texans are now 3-4, but a solid 3-4.
They're only 3-4?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I haven't even looked at their record. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe drop 1 or 2 more, and that's it.
I mean, yeah, I haven't looked at their schedule for the rest of the year, but holy crap. I mean, what they just did to Seattle, okay. I have personally bought in to Deshaun, which I was already into Deshaun Watson coming out of college. Like, I knew he was going to be the best quarterback in this draft, and I don't know why teams kept passing on him, but we were both, Cameron and I were both saying Deshaun Watson's the best quarterback coming out, and anyone that says Trubisky or Mahomes or anything else, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I think the Bears honestly just have set themselves back a couple years again, just from giving up so much just to get Trubisky.
Yeah.
If there is a quarterback that was really worth moving up like that, it's not going to be Trubisky, a 1-year starter at North Carolina in a crappy ACC. Oh my God, I can't believe they gave up so much to get that guy. If they gave up that much to get Deshaun Watson, I would have been like, okay, that makes sense because he's an awesome talent. But Mitchell Trubisky, like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens with Trubisky. Like, they obviously saw something in him, but I don't know what that was. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens. Either way, the next game, the last couple of games here, we have Cowboys versus Redskins. The Cowboys handled business in this one, 33-19. Cowboys are now 4-3, and the Redskins are 3-4. Next game was on Sunday Night Football. Steelers versus Lions, which was field goal supreme for the Lions. Just five field goals, which is fine for me because I had Matt Prater in my other league, and Cameron had Matt Prater in our league, so it worked out for both of us. So the Lions fall to 3-4, and the Steelers go up to 6-2, thanks to Juju Smith-Schuster going nuts. And then the last game of the week was the Broncos versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs ended up winning 29-19. Final score makes it look like the Broncos were in this game at one point, but they really weren't. Chiefs handled business, and the Broncos had like a late touchdown, but Chiefs handled this game well. Broncos fall to 3-4, and the Chiefs move up to 6-2.
Yeah, man. I think we were pretty good with our predictions from last week. There wasn't really any major differences in what we projected happening. I picked the Chargers against the Patriots, and obviously in hindsight it's stupid, but I wanted the Chargers to win just because I can't stand the Patriots.
We had to take some, we had to throw something in there that was a little bit more, risky, A
little bit of a hotter take.
Yeah. I think most of ours were good. I think we had the Dolphins beating the Ravens.
Yeah, we were, talking about
which didn't
Matt
happen.
Moore gunslinging. I remember listening to myself, he averaged 2 touchdowns a game, blah, blah, last time he had to start. But, he's just crap.
Yeah, and to be fair, the Ravens defense really did show up. They made some awesome plays, but, that was kind of a stinker. But other than that, I think we nailed it on most of these. It wasn't really that hard. There was a lot of, good team versus bad team matchups. So, I think we're pretty good.
But some stuff we couldn't predict. How about that trade deadline?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this trade deadline was ridiculous.
Some big names getting moved around.
Yeah, the first one, I guess, the one that's been talked about the most, which can be the one we start with here. Jimmy Garoppolo was traded to the 49ers for just a second-round pick, which...
So much for all that talk of, he's worth 2 first-round picks from any team, blah, 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 that wants him.
Yeah, it was strange because the Patriots had the opportunity to get a first-round pick and I think another pick from the Browns back when the Browns were chasing after him. And they were like, no. And now they trade him to the 49ers for just a second-round pick, which, has so many... there's so many things that are affected by that. You have Garoppolo, who did great for the Patriots when he played for them. Granted, it is a kind of a small sample size, but that sample was good.
It was only a couple of games.
Yeah, but, he played really well. And, we'll see what happens. I think he fits in Shanahan's scheme really well. I think he's the kind of quarterback that Shanahan would really like to work with. So we'll see what happens with that. But all of a sudden, you now have a team that, given what we'll see out of Garoppolo the rest of the year, doesn't necessarily have to go after a quarterback right away in the first round. If they can get, if Garoppolo can produce and show that it wasn't just a fluke because he played for Belichick, like, if he can show some good stuff, they might be able to actually build around him instead of having to immediately draft his replacement.
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll do. They'll be able to trade down in the first again, and I think they could. I think the Niners are gonna target some weapons to get for Garoppolo. They'll probably, because they have so much cap space, they have to sign. They have to see what they can get out of Garoppolo these remaining 8 games, because he's a free agent after this season. So there's a couple things they can do. They can franchise tag him at the end of the year and pay him $24 million to play next year, which would allow them to get some weapons via free agency and through the draft, which is what I think they'll do. I think that they're... If I'm the Niners and I have Garoppolo now, I would look to pick the best receiver available in the first round, wherever they are at, and then pretty much just focus on defense. But either way, they can either franchise tag Jimmy Garoppolo, build that team around him, and see what they have. And if he's not what they want, then they at least have the building blocks for their next quarterback to come in.
Right.
So really, this is definitely great for the Niners. They completely won this trade, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
Garoppolo is worth way more than a second-round pick, in my opinion, based on just the... what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, God, I'm tired.
It's pretty late.
Based on his potential, I think he'd be worth more than a second-round pick, but that's just me.
I mean, I agree. I thought it was crazy that they got him for just a second-round pick. I thought there had to be a better offer somewhere, but I could understand if they didn't want to trade him like in the division or in the AFC. Like it would make sense if they were just like, let's send him literally as far away as possible.
As far away geographically and like record-wise.
Yeah, like just make it so they don't have to face him at all. Because I mean, they liked him, they kept him around, but you know they wanted to get something for him instead of just losing him in free agency.
It's interesting for the Patriots now because there was some rumors going around. I don't know if you saw, but there were some rumors going around that Belichick was talking about trading Tom Brady, and Robert Kraft had to step in and say to him, no, Tom Brady is retiring a Patriot. Which, I mean, believe what you want, but Belichick is the kind of person who will do whatever it takes to win, and if he thinks that he could sustain more success with Garoppolo, then, I mean, you could realistically see him getting rid of Tom Brady. But there's absolutely no reason to, considering that Brady is still playing at MVP level.
Right.
It doesn't look like he's dropped off at all. If anything, it just feels like he just keeps getting better. I swear to God, it just drives me nuts. But
it's crazy.
But it's interesting to see what the Patriots are going to do, because they basically swapped Garoppolo and Hoyer.
Yeah.
So Hoyer's back on the Patriots after 8 years on other teams in the league, and he'll be a good spot starter if they need him to be, and a good mentor for the next quarterback they bring in, whoever that is.
Do you think they'll draft a quarterback in this next draft?
I don't think they'll draft one in this draft, but they will the following draft, because...
I feel like they have to draft one in this one.
Well, I mean, they signed Hoyer to a 3-year contract, and they don't do that unless they have a long-term plan. I think.
I just, the way I see it right now, when you had Garoppolo and Brissett as your backups, you didn't have to worry about it at all. You had two guys that could come in and play. You had one guy in Garoppolo that could lead the team, and you had a guy in Brissett that could manage the team. Because Brissett has shown that he can manage. He's not going to put the team on his back. And we don't know if Garoppolo could do that yet, but he played well when he had to play. So now your backup option at this point is if Brady gets hurt, which he doesn't do a lot, and when he does, he'll usually play through it. But if Brady gets knocked out, we thought Aaron Rodgers was invincible. Dude got knocked out. If Brady gets knocked out, you have Brian Hoyer, and that's it. So if that happens, maybe that doesn't happen this year, but if they don't draft a quarterback, then you're still rolling with two guys on the brink of retirement.
At this point, I feel like they might draft a quarterback, but I don't see them picking one before the 4th round.
No, I'm not saying that they're going to pick one early on. I'm saying I just feel like they have to draft one.
They'll draft one as like a project guy or somebody to stash on their practice squad or something. But I don't think they're going to draft one with the intention of having him be the long-term starter. I thought that's kind of what you were asking.
No, I was just saying, do you think they have to draft one?
I don't think they have to.
In some sort of meaningful spot, not like a 7th round quarterback.
They could do that. I wouldn't even.
They've had success with it before, so
6th round, okay.
Well, basically 7th round.
Whatever, but I don't know. I don't think they have to draft a quarterback. They could just as easily. If they want some guy with, potential, or you don't see what I'm doing air quotes, but if they want some dude with potential, they could just, sign any quarterback that's been drafted and cut in the last couple of years and just have him at their 3rd string. They don't need to have some guy that they're going to commit to or any guy that they really need to put any resources into. Really, a 3rd string guy is getting a handful of snaps in practice and is mostly just on scout team. So, I don't know. I don't think they have to, but it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to.
Yeah, you just the Patriot. I don't know. I feel like Belichick is not going to be very happy losing. He just doesn't strike me as the guy that'd be like, oh great, Tom Brady's out. Okay, cool. I'll just deal with losing. He'd be like, no. He'd be like, no, I don't want to lose. Nope. I'm going to just say everything like this. These are my interviews.
Yeah. Well, that's because most reporters ask him the dumbest questions ever.
It's true. But either way, quarterback situation for the 49ers right now is great. They're in a great spot, and now they can focus on filling some holes. So long as Garoppolo produces. They're all big names. All 4 of these guys are big names. Staying in the NFC West, Dwayne Brown was traded from the Texans to the Seahawks. This is huge. This is huge for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think 310 pounds at least. But, the Hawks are instantly back to being competitors with pretty much no question marks, other than the running backs. We were talking about this earlier before the podcast started, but the running back situation for Seattle is the weakest link. With Dwayne Brown coming over, which I guess, by the way, we should mention what the terms of the deal was.
Right.
Originally, it was going to be Lane and a 5th round pick.
I know it was Jeremy Lane and I think it was just a 5th round pick. I think it was just Jeremy Lane and a 5th round pick that they were sending over for Dwayne Brown. But Jeremy Lane failed the physical, so he couldn't be traded, so that I think they ended up throwing in a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. instead, which as Seahawks fans we were upset about because Jeremy Lane is not worth a second or third round pick. Yeah. He's not of equal value to that right now. So we were kind of upset about that. But we still get Dwayne Brown to lock up that left side of the line, which now, like we said with last week, we were talking about Ethan Pokic, whatever, Ethan P is what we ended up going with. We said to put him in and see what he's got, and sure enough, he looked great at left guard. So now, from left tackle to center, that left side looks great. The right side still needs work.
Ifedi is looking actually solid this year.
Right, and not only is he looking solid, but now you get a guy in Dwayne Brown who's close with Ifedi and has worked with Ifedi, and they have a good relationship.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. He was Dwayne Brown was talking about it in his press conference. He was talking about how obviously he was close with Ibushi. That's like who he talked to when he heard he was getting traded. So they have communication together, and he's close with Ifedi. He talks about Ifedi, and he's like, yeah, he's like my little brother, So like, I mean, there's so many good things that brings to our offensive line. I mean, things are just looking up for this offensive line, surprisingly. We'll see if it all ends up panning out, but I mean, man, this having a left tackle finally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if you consider Okung to be pretty good for the time he had in Seattle.
What's sad is Okung is probably the best left tackle we've had since Walter Jones.
That's what I was about to say, is like, if you don't consider him like a good player, we haven't had a good left tackle since Walter Jones.
Yeah.
So this is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I looked it up. It was Lane and a 5th-round pick for 2018 and a 2019 second-round pick.
Oh, so there was a second-round pick in there.
However, when Lane filled his physical, we upgraded the 5th-round pick to a 3rd-round pick, I think. Or no, excuse me, a 2nd-round pick. Either way, we gave up a bunch of stuff to get him, which is okay because, I mean, Seattle's in perfect position right now to compete for the Super Bowl.
Right.
We don't really need a whole lot of draft capital right now. Our window is now. The window is now, because at the end of next year, I don't know if you've looked, but you should look at our list of free agents next year. At the end of next year, it's like Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, like all of these guys, KJ Wright. There's like half our starting.
At the end of next year?
Yes.
Oh yeah, because we gave out all those.
Earl Thomas, all of these guys are having their contracts up at the end of next year. So really, it's this year and next year that we have to compete for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you definitely have to have some urgency there. I have faith that they're going to retain pretty much all of those guys because they found a way to do it a couple years ago, and I feel like these players like playing in Seattle because Seattle treats their players right, So I see them sticking around, but
I could see Earl. I think Earl Thomas is going to be a Seahawk for life, and I think that Bobby Wagner will as well. The only guys I'm concerned about are Cam Chancellor, who has already shown some, unhappiness with his contracts in the past, and Richard Sherman, who's been the focal point of some trade talks earlier this year, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone were to be traded, it would probably be. I mean, I just don't see any of them being traded, but I mean, I guess probably Sherman just because of what they could get for him. but I don't see any of them being traded. I see them being re-signed. I feel like if they aren't going to be re-signed, it's just because they don't want to be there. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be a matter of money because they're gonna keep that defense around as long as they can.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's definitely to the point of the window. I mean, it definitely is now. They have to compete now, especially with Russell Wilson in his prime. I mean, you have to go now with all these pieces on this team. But yeah, Seahawks.
But yeah, Dwayne Brown was definitely the missing link for this team. If they can just find some consistency in the run game, they're gonna take it to whoever they play against. Yeah. I could see them winning out possibly. I don't know the rest of our schedule, but the NFC West
there's a game against
the Rams is going to be one of the hardest games we play.
The Rams game, and I hate to say it, but the Jaguars game right now is scary solely because you can't pass all game against the Jaguars and win. You have to run the ball against them. Jaguars are number one pass defense in the league right now. Their pass defense is no joke. Their run defense is like, I think I was saying this last week, it's in like the 20s. So you have to be able to run the ball against them. I'm not worried about Bortles tearing up the Seattle secondary. I think that's just going to be a low-scoring game whenever they play, unless Seattle can get a running game going. But yeah, that's the only game I could see them losing just because we've seen them drop games like that before. But the rest of the games are definitely winnable for Seattle. It's quite possible that they win out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But moving on from Seattle, we could talk about Seattle all day. Another big name was Kelvin Benjamin, which was kind of a surprise. But Kelvin Benjamin was traded from the Panthers to the Buffalo Bills. And this one was kind of confusing because the Panthers are in a spot right now at 5-3 that they're still in contention. They're just like a game behind the Saints now. Yeah, the Saints are 5-2, so they're still in contention for a wild card spot and to still be able to win that division. And an offense that was already struggling pretty heavily, they trade away their best receiver.
Yeah, not smart.
I mean, I don't understand this. I don't understand why they did this. Why? They're already struggling. They have very limited offensive options, and they gave him away for like, I don't even remember what they gave him away for. It was like is that the one? No, Jay Ajayi was the 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin was, what did they get for him? It was like a 3rd rounder, I think.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Either way, Bills didn't have to really give up that much to get him. And now the Panthers, I mean, okay, before I just go on this tangent about the Panthers, okay, like I'm going to stop myself, okay. Objectively speaking, the Panthers were already bad on offense. This makes them worse. That's just, this is the fact. You trade away your best receiver and get almost nothing in return. That doesn't help your team. So now they are relying on Devin Funchess to be the number 1 receiver there, with pretty much no running game and a quarterback that's spotty. So, I mean, what in terms of Carolina, what do you see as the upside here for the rest of the season, if any?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know what they were. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if maybe they just didn't want to like re-sign him and get what they could out of him right away. But it was just kind of stupid because, I mean, their wide receiver depth is terrible. They had him and Funchess as the main 2 guys, and behind them they have what?
Curtis Samuel,
who's a gadget player mostly. Right. And I mean, do they still have like Corey Brown? Like they just have they just have these nobody dudes who haven't done anything in the NFL, whether it's due to lack of experience or due to a lack of talent. But Kelvin Benjamin was easily their best receiver and probably be the best receiver on a few teams. And
yeah, I mean,
now he goes to the Bills and he's the best receiver on their team.
Yeah, I mean, they were to talk about the Bills' implications here. I mean, this is huge for them. They have, I mean, almost literally, Kelvin Benjamin's a big guy. Like, he is a big receiver. But the Bills, to put it in perspective, they were relying, before they got Jordan Matthews, they were relying on a rookie receiver to be their number one wide receiver. It's not great because Anquan Bolden retired, who was supposed to be their number one receiver. So then they get Jordan Matthews, who is, and now, and they were winning games. Now they're 5-2. They just got Kelvin Benjamin. Somehow their defense is still playing super well after they traded away like half of their good pieces. But yeah, I mean, you lose that many players on defense, and it's still playing that well. And now you have a team that's 5-2. They just got a good receiver that can go up and get the friggin' ball. And I mean, this just helps them. This does nothing but help the Bills.
It's gonna take so much pressure off of Jordan Matthews, number one, and Zay Jones, number two. And I mean, there is nothing but positive here for the Bills.
Right.
Panthers, I really want to know what they were talking about in their front office as to why they would think this was a good idea.
There must be something about Kelvin Benjamin that everyone else just doesn't know. Like, I understand that.
We say that about every. Sorry to interrupt you. We say that about every player that's like gets traded away or dropped for whatever reason, and a lot of times it's like when they traded Deshaun Jackson from Philly, or LaShawn McCoy from Philly, or
oh my gosh, I forget that they traded LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, because Chip Kelly wanted to make his team with DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews. But anyways, he came to camp out of shape. Kelvin Benjamin did,
right? And
there are people freaking out about that, but then he has played just fine so far this year, and he's gotten back into shape, so no big deal. But Panthers, I mean, just kind of summarize that. Yeah, Panthers are idiots, and the Bills are smart for taking advantage of them being idiots.
Yeah, no kidding. And then the last big name, unless we're forgetting someone, I mean, we can just mention the fact that A.J. McCarron almost went to the Browns, but the Browns forgot to file the paperwork in time.
They just forgot to notify the NFL, like the actual league.
Yeah.
They had everything done with the Bengals, and they started celebrating and thought it was awesome, and then they just forgot to tell the league, oh, hey, we're doing this transaction, to which the league would have said, oh, all right. You get nice. Okay, good job, you guys.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good job, Cleveland.
And yeah, they ended up just shooting themselves in the foot, Plaxico Burress style.
Yeah. So other than that, I think the last big name is Jay Ajayi going, which I mentioned. I think I mentioned. Either way, Jay Ajayi is going to the Eagles for just a 4th round pick. That's it.
Yep.
They get the starting running back who put up some pretty hefty numbers last year. Not as much this year, but they get a starting running back from the Dolphins for a 4th round pick. Like, speaking of idiot organizations, what are the Dolphins doing? Like,
yeah, I've seen kind of some different things that people are saying. Some people are saying that Gase is just trying to like send a message, but it's.
I saw that too.
But I mean,
you don't take your starting running back to send a message.
I don't really buy it because it's like, oh yeah, we'll send a message by sending you to the best team in the NFL right now. Like, I don't buy that.
Send him to the Browns.
Yeah,
That'll
you learned
teach him.
nothing from your in-division rivals. Come on.
Yeah, I just...
But the other thing I'm hearing is that, so coming out of college, Ajayi's biggest knock was that he has, like, the knee of an 80-year-old. He has really bad knees. And so the Dolphins might be kind of just trying to... I think that they aren't wanting to bank on him staying healthy. I think they're betting on him getting injured eventually and wearing down and not being able to sustain the production that he has been putting up. I just want to apologize right now, man. For some reason I'm just so tired, and so my brain isn't all there.
For some reason, it's 11 o'clock at night. That's why I'm so tired.
So, I'm just gonna apologize right now if anything I say is not true or if it's like not accurate. I'm sorry, but it doesn't really matter. There's only like 4 people listening to this ever, anyways. Like 2 of the views on YouTube are probably from you and me, anyways.
Well, I mean, I watch it when I edit it, so I don't really watch it when I put it up on YouTube.
So there are more people watching it then. Yeah. I thought maybe one of those views was you and one of them was me, and then the 2 others were just like maybe people who watch it for 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just wanted to apologize for that to you guys. But yeah, I think that the Dolphins might have just been trying to cut their losses before they could get nothing out of him. And
I just feel like they could have gotten more than a 4th round pick for Ajayi.
With the plethora of running backs coming out of college and the ones that are doing really well, a 4th round pick can be your next starting running back. I think they'll obviously draft one sooner than that. At least they should draft one sooner than that. But I mean, there's been a lot of really serviceable running backs that you can get. At least the last couple of drafts have had pretty deep running back classes, especially this last one.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this one
the
rookies this year have been ridiculous. Yeah, I definitely see them. I mean, this puts them in a position where they have to draft one. You can't roll with Kenyon Drake and Damian Williams. Like, come on. You're going to need some talent. Which, that's not saying they don't have talent, but you need something that's actually going to sustain. Because I don't see either of those guys really taking over that backfield. You know, they're there.
I'm sure Arian Foster's kneeling somewhere. They can probably call him up and get him to come over. But, no, his knees are also really bad. They're like, we just need a running back who has decent knees. Good luck. If the Dolphins can find a running back that has good knees, they'll be the first. Pretty much all running backs have crappy knees because they get, especially ones in college that are any good, they get like 30 carries a game.
Yeah.
You know, Melvin Gordon, like, in some of the games he had at Wisconsin, he had like 40 carries in those games. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he always had at least 30.
Your quarterback shouldn't even be throwing 40 times a game, and you're running your running back 40 times a game. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah.
But,
either way, I mean, speculatively speaking, in the event that, because Jay Cutler's coming back this week, yippee. So now they're in a position where they have no running game, really. Probably going to be an aggressive aerial attack.
They had no game at all offensively. They were talking about it that whole Thursday night game. All they could talk about was how the Dolphins were the 32nd ranked offense and the Ravens were the 31st ranked offense. Like, unfortunately, I watched that game, or at least most of that game.
Why?
Because I had the day off, and it was like, well, there's a football game on, so I'm going to watch it because I never get Sundays off. And I didn't get this Sunday off, which sucked, but... So I was, like, watching the play-by-play for this Seattle game, this epic, amazing game.
Yeah.
And I don't even have the day off, even though I requested it off.
Yeah. Either way,
Blame you, Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
He'll never...
The lobster.
Living like Larry.
Living like Larry.
Oh god. Anyways,
So the point I was going to make is that assuming that the Dolphins, because I just don't see them. I see them. Their ceiling, I feel like, is 8 wins. I feel like just because the division they play in, I could see them squeaking out a couple more wins.
the division is really good this year.
Well,
somehow. Every team in that division is above 500.
No, the Jets are 3-5.
The Jets are 3-5?
Yeah. They could beat the Jets.
I thought they were 4.
They could beat the Jets, maybe. Which is weird to say, maybe.
I don't think so. The Jets' offense is way better than the
Yeah, but the Jets'
Dolphins'
defense is still pretty bad. So either way, assuming that they go, let's say 6-10 on the year, that puts them probably in the top.
I'm going to say
20
probably
picks.
Yeah, I was going to say between like pick 13 and 20.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
23 maybe.
We don't know who's really going to be available for running backs at that point, just because of how drafts have gone these last couple of years, with running backs being taken earlier and earlier. I mean, who do you see them picking?
Well, a lot of teams addressed their running back situation this last year, so the teams that need running backs are the Dolphins for sure. The Ravens absolutely need to maybe not invest their first round pick in one,
but they need one.
They need one. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that are really in
I think the Colts need
dire need. Yeah, the Colts could need one. I mean, they have 2 ex-Seahawks on IR right now. Kristen Michael's on IR, and so is Robert Turbin. Yeah. Marlon Mack has shown some good flashes, and Frank Gore defies time itself.
Yeah, but that's going to catch up to him. He's going to get sick of playing on this crappy team and just say, okay, I'm done.
It is really sad for Frank Gore, man. He went to the Colts because he thought they were going to be contenders with Andrew Luck, and then, surprise, their front office is just as bad as 49ers.
Yeah.
But, the Colts will probably draft a running back. Other than that, man, I'm trying to think.
The Giants.
The Jets. Yes, the Giants for sure.
I think the Jets are okay.
I don't know, dude. I think that they're probably going to move on from Forte, and Bilal Powell is not a feature back.
But I think they're in the same boat as the Ravens, where they don't need to invest a first round pick in one. I think there's a lot of defensive holes they would need to fill first.
And the Jets are probably. I think the Jets are going to take a quarterback in the first round.
I mean, I think they need to. They have just so many other holes to fill.
I'm trying to think of teams that could really use.
I was just saying the Giants. Giants definitely need a running back because I don't feel good about any of the running backs. Other than that, maybe I don't know if anyone else would really need one in the first round. I feel like maybe I wouldn't say the Redskins because Chris Thompson has been good, so they don't really need to get one right away.
No, Chris Thompson is not a every down back.
Right, but I'm saying because they're still getting production, even though it's not rushing production from him as much, they're still getting a running back production. It's like the Panthers right now. They're getting something from McCaffrey, even though it's not really rushing. They're still getting something out of the backfield.
If the Redskins have a chance to get one of the top running backs in the league, I'd look for them to pick him because
I see them investing in a receiver in the first round.
Chris Thompson is great for the role that he plays on this team this year, and he's a very explosive player. But I mean, he's been in the league for 3 years already, and this is his first year doing anything because he's been injured so much. We're seeing what he can do when he's healthy. He's just not healthy very often. P. Ryan hasn't been all that good either. And Rob Kelly isn't all that great. in the first place. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the Redskins could use a running back. Other than that, the Raiders are going to need a running back.
Raiders will need a running back, and then the only other team I could see is the Lions, because Abdullah's kind of
Time to move on from Abdullah. Dude.
Yeah,
he hasn't been able to put it together.
And he's just so one-dimensional. He doesn't do anything for their passing game. He's an okay runner, but he's more of a rotational guy.
Carried Nebraska, isn't it?
Abdullah?
Think. Yeah. I remember he was the entire offense for the Cornhuskers just a couple of years ago. Good times.
Yeah. So, but that's, I mean, you have a solid group of backs coming out this year again. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think the Dolphins are in a good spot to grab that running back that they're going to need around that, mid first round.
And if they want to trade up for him for a running back, they probably could, because I mean their team isn't full of holes or anything. It's not.
No, they need some help at corner.
They need some corner help, but their second, their safeties are all right. They could probably use maybe some upgrades at linebacker, but I mean, they still have a solid defense, and their offense has the potential to be pretty good. They just need to. They just need a real running game, and I guess O-line is their biggest weakness on.
O-line's not great. Yeah, their O-line's not great. They have a lot of young guys there. Yeah, they need some help. Their offense just needs help. Their skill, their receivers are fine. They just need someone that can get them the ball, and they need a running back now. So
yeah, the receivers, their strongest position group on their team. They have Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker, and Kenny Stills.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great trio of receivers.
Yeah, that's a good trio to have, and they are very complementary to one another.
Right.
Parker's a good jump ball receiver. Jarvis Landry is a great player in space.
Just in general,
he's a great he's a good receiver in general. And Kenny Stills is a great deep threat.
Yeah.
So they have all of that. They have what could be a good passing offense, but they just need to put it together in the run game.
Yeah, that's for sure. But to move into our last segment, just like every week, we will give our predictions here for these coming games this week. So first game on our list is the Bills versus Jets. I think we both have the Bills in this one.
I mean, unless you want to believe in the truth.
I mean, Josh McCown is the truth, but
the Bills
are killing it. Yeah. I'm not going to bet against them. So
I think it'll be a really competitive game because the Jets, I mean, it's an in-division game, and the Jets are just looking to build on what they've already accomplished this year. So I think that they'll play the Bills pretty tough, but ultimately they're probably going to drop this one to the Bills.
Yeah, I agree. Next game on the list is the Ravens versus Titans. Probably going to take the Titans in this one. Ravens have a good run defense, and the Titans are good, the Titans are a run-heavy team. So, I mean, the Ravens are in a good spot for that, but I trust Mariota. I trust him to get it done against the Ravens secondary that's kind of wishy-washy. They're going to be pretty confident coming off of a game where they destroyed Matt Moore, but that's Matt Moore, not Marcus Mariota. So I'm going to take the Titans here.
Yeah, that double M connection. Marcus Mariota, Matt Moore.
M. It's like Halloween.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so
So, yeah, I'm going to take the Titans, but really, I mean, are we going to get the Titans that play like crap against the Browns, or are we going to get the Titans who, play solid ball? Like, they really need to show up, and
I think we will. They're coming off their bye week. I think they took that Cleveland game like, okay,
like a wake up call.
Yeah, like, okay, we need to fix some stuff because you shouldn't be in overtime games with the Cleveland Browns.
No.
All right. So next game is the Buccaneers versus Saints. Normally I'd say this would be a shootout, but Jameis Winston forgot how to do that, so I'm gonna say
he got cursed. I'm telling you, he got cursed by Ryan Fitzpatrick. It happens to everyone.
So I'm definitely taking the Saints here. I think Drew Brees is gonna. I think that offense in general is just gonna kill him.
Yeah. I thought the Saints were gonna light it up against the Bears too, but I mean, I think the Bears actually have a underrated defense. Their defense is actually
pretty solid.
Pretty solid, but the Bucs have not been able to put it together, even though they were like supposedly sneaky pick for NFC this year and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Saints. Their defense has been superb. Their pass defense is only allowing 158 yards per game, which is the best in the NFL right now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the offense for the Saints has just been. I mean, it's good every year, but they've really found their groove with Breeze getting the ball to not only Michael Thomas, but I mean even a guy like Brandon Coleman has been getting touchdowns. It feels like every other game.
And Ted Ginn has been playing well.
Yeah, and Mark Ingram has been tearing it up. Him and Kamara are a great 1-2 running back.
I mean, yeah, they got Peterson out of there, and that just opened the door for Kamara to just come in. And I mean, now they're so complementary to each other, Ingram and Kamara, that it's taking so much of the pressure off of Drew Brees that he just has to just do his thing, and they'll be fine.
Well, it's great because they're complementary, but they're not like all that different of running backs.
Right.
Kamara is definitely more of a pass-catching back than Mark Ingram is, but Ingram is a great pass-catching running back by himself.
Right, they're both good at that.
And, I mean, so far from what we've seen, Ingram is a better runner, but Kamara could easily be that eventually.
Right.
But, I mean, he's a rookie, so you can't really just, like, expect him to play at the level of somebody who's been in the league for 6 years now,
right?
7 years. But I mean, either way, Saints easy taking this one, I think.
Yeah, interesting to see how Lattimore and Mike Evans match up against each other. That'll be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, Rams versus Giants. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a no-brainer, honestly.
Rams versus Giants?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like, come on, it's the Rams. They're gonna run all over them. They're gonna be rested and fine, and the Giants are bad. So, not much discussion here. I really think the Rams just take this one handily. Yep. All right, next game, Broncos versus Eagles.
Oh, man, Eagles easily.
Eagles easily, and it doesn't help that Brock the Lobster is going to start for the Broncos. I mean, it's just like, Brock Osweiler doesn't win games.
It's funny, like 4 weeks ago, Vance Joseph was probably like having the time of his life. His team was winning, and he was like his first year as head coach, and win his first 3 games. I bet he was like, oh yeah, this is great, our team's rolling. Everything's good, and then suddenly, like, they play the Bills and lose, and then their, like, confidence just got shattered, and he just couldn't keep the locker room together or something. I don't know what happened to that
Von Miller realized Old Spice could not carry his football team.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on with their offense. It's just been so inconsistent, and Simeon has been really bad, so I can't blame Vance Joseph for trying to spark something or maybe
why
change.
not Paxton Lynch?
Because he's terrible. If he was any good, they would be starting him. But he's not good. And
so then prove that he's not good. Like,
he is proving to them every day in practice that he's not good.
Okay,
they don't want to.
The fans are gonna be like, put Paxton Lynch in, and they're gonna be like, no, because he's bad. And
No. Here's what's gonna happen: is they just activated Chad Kelly.
Oh,
God.
God, Chad. Oh.
Dude, he's got all the talent in the world. He's just a freaking idiot.
God. Just every time I see Chad Kelly now, I think of Mia Khalifa.
Oh, yeah.
That's every story with him has to do with Mia Khalifa.
Yeah, I mean, and that's... Yeah, what would be great is to see him get his act together and play for the Broncos, because I mean he has a lot of talent. He's a really talented quarterback. He just
he's a dingus.
He's just got a terrible personality and goes by Swag Kelly because he's as long as he doesn't go like full Johnny Manziel, then he'll be fine. But yeah, it'd be good to see him. It'd be good to see the Broncos get some actual decent quarterback play. But for now, since they're starting the Lobster, they're losing by a lot. Yeah, maybe start Demarius Thomas, and that's it. If you're a fantasy
owner. There's not much there that you'd want to start. So, yeah, I'll start Demarius Thomas, but oh god. Okay, so next game is the Falcons versus the Panthers. Taking the Falcons because that's what I do, but also because I don't have faith in the Panthers ever. So
that's also true.
So I don't know. I mean, I could see the Panthers defense showing up and stopping the Falcons, because the Falcons have been very inconsistent on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, their defense isn't expected to be a crazy elite defense, so they're about where you'd expect them to be. But that offense has been struggling, and I mean, this is like two teams that are like just struggling, and we'll just see who struggles more in this game. You know, I have more faith in the Falcons than I do in the Panthers, just because.
Well, now they don't have Benjamin, like
Trufant can just pick his nose and cover Funchess all day.
Yeah,
and Alfred's gonna be like, "Who is this child that I'm covering?" Like,
yeah, no kidding. I don't really have a whole lot of faith in the Panthers offense at this point. I mean, pretty much everything they do is behind the line of scrimmage. It's either running the ball or a jet sweep or a check down or a screen. Like, they don't have any way to stretch the field. And that's like their whole offense. It feels like a college offense. Yeah, it's just not good. Yeah. I'll take the Falcons in this one. However, with no confidence, because the Jets played them hard last week.
Right.
So,
but the Jets have McCown, who is the truth.
Who they also wasted on when he was with the Bucks. But whatever.
Okay, but it's different now.
It's different now. He has matured. He's a grown man.
He is aged cheese. All right. Next game, Bengals versus Jaguars. I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer, Jaguars. Because Bengals already can't throw the ball very well, and they can't run the ball very well. They can't do a lot of things very well. So, all they have to do is cover AJ Green, and they're going to win this game. So,
dude, I hope that the Jags just have so much confidence in Jalen Ramsey that they just let him cover AJ Green one-on-one all day.
It'd be fun to watch.
That would be awesome to watch.
I mean, Jalen Ramsey's a boss, so...
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah, so... Especially if Fournette plays, Jaguars.
He's supposed to play.
Yeah.
So, everything indicates that he's supposed to be playing.
Yeah. So, Next game, Colts and Texans.
Jesus Christ. We're going to get 100% of these right again. It's something. Yeah, Texans are going to roll over the Colts.
After seeing what Deshaun Watson just did to Seattle's defense, he now gets to play against possibly the squishiest defense in the league. I mean...
Yeah, the Browns have a better defense.
Literally every Texan you have. You have Lamar Miller, you have Will Fuller, you better have DeAndre Hopkins. You start all of them.
Yeah, Lamar Miller.
Maybe even start Tom Savage, because he might get playing time.
He might get garbage stats, dude. You never know.
Don't actually start Tom Savage.
I remember, oh man, I was thinking of backup quarterbacks getting garbage time points. I remember this one. It was the year we had Matt Flynn as our backup, and we were for Seattle, and
right.
we were rolling over somebody. I don't remember who, but I swear Matt Flynn was just like chucking it deep every time he had the ball. You remember this?
Who was that against?
I want to say it was against the Cardinals when we were beating them like 59-0.
Oh,
but
that might have been the game.
I don't remember exactly, but I just remember Matt Flynn comes in and he was just like, I felt like I could see his anger and like, just like, wow, this is all the time I get. Well, I'm going to try to make the most of it, deep ball every time. And then just was like terrible because he's Matt Flynn. But, yeah, definitely start Lamar Miller with tons of confidence because last year the Texans won both their games against the Colts, and in both games Lamar Miller carried the team because Osweiler is terrible. However, Osweiler did in the first game have a game-winning drive where he threw a touchdown pass to, I believe it was Ryan Griffin. I remember watching this game because
I remember this one too.
I needed Lamar Miller to give me a bunch of points, and he just annihilated the Colts, and that was really great to watch as a Miller owner, especially because the rest of the year it was terrible. But yeah, this year Texans are completely vamped up on offense. Deshaun Watson is light years ahead of Brock Osweiler in every facet of his game. So yeah, I'm excited to watch the Texans roll over the Colts and watch Jacoby Brissett run for his life like he has all year, and
oh boy,
feel really bad for him.
If you use defensive players, start Jadeveon Clowney.
Seriously though.
Okay, so next game, this is kind of another like who cares. Cardinals and 49ers. Assuming Garoppolo doesn't start, like they said he wasn't going to. This really is kind of a whatever game. I'm taking the Cardinals just because that Niners defense is so bad. But who knows? I could see this being the 49ers' first win of the year. It's possible. Just because there's no Carson Palmer and you're relying on Drew Stanton and he's bad. But I think you'll get a heavy dose of Adrian Peterson and call it good.
Yeah, we'll see. We talked about in one of our podcasts, if the 49ers have anything, it's a defensive line.
Right.
They have a defensive line, so they're going to, especially without Carson Palmer, whether they start Blaine Gabbert or Drew Stanton, either one of them, they're going to, the Niners and every other team they play this year is going to sell out against the running game because that's the only thing the Cardinals have going for them now. So, and even if they do pass, Stanton has no deep accuracy to hit his speedy guys. Barely any medium and short accuracy to really take advantage of Larry Fitzgerald's skill set. So everything they do is going to be short gain. But
he can dance.
Oh, yeah.
On the sidelines.
He does have good dance when Seattle's in town.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'll take the Cardinals and be safe, but
it's very possible that the Niners get a win.
I would like to see the Niners win because they're not in NFC contention at all.
I would like to see them win too. I just think that think that Adrian Peterson will be able to run and they'll be able to control the clock better. But we'll see. Maybe it's just going to be a shootout between bad teams. And by shootout, I mean it's just going to be Carlos Hyde versus Adrian Peterson.
I just hope Larry Fitzgerald gets some fantasy points for me, please.
All right. Down to the last couple of games here. We have the Redskins versus the Seahawks. I'm going to take Seattle. I think we'll both always take Seattle.
Yeah.
This one, if you told me a couple weeks ago that they were playing, I'd be more intrigued by it. But Washington doesn't really scare me anymore. They have no wide receivers. Josh Doxson is okay, but I'm not worried. Against the Seattle defense, I'm not worried. I could see sometimes Seattle struggles against slot receivers, so I could see Jamison Crowder having an okay game. But Jordan Reed is out for this game, most likely.
Oh, yeah.
And
Jesus.
And Seattle knows how to play against Vernon Davis. So
yeah, just smack him with Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, all you have to do is smack the guy, and he's like, PTSD with Cam Chancellor, man. Like, so I'm taking Seattle here.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that hit was so nasty that even though it was legal, they threw the flag anyways and called him for a penalty. You remember that? They called Cam for a penalty, and everybody was like, "How is that a penalty?" And they looked at the replay, and it was completely legal. Led with the shoulder into his chest, and they were still like, "Wow, that was so violent that we're gonna throw a flag anyways because something must have happened." Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks all day with this one. The Redskins have a decent defense, and Ryan Kerrigan is a beast as always. But I mean, I don't think that they'll be able to have the same kind of game that they had against the Texans. That game was just
no, I don't think they'll have that kind
transcendent.
of game.
But they cannot rely on Russell Wilson to carry the team every week. I mean, I wish they could. I wish they could, but they just can't because Darrell Bevell. And
it's true.
So
he'll find a way to put up 5 points.
Yeah, he'll find a way to drop these terrible games against terrible opponents because he's just I'm going to poke and prod the whole game and see what their defense is trying to do. And then I'm down by 30 points.
When the offensive line starts to struggle, I'll start calling go routes all game.
Yeah, he's stupid. Darrell Bevell, piece of crap.
Either way, we're both taking the Seahawks here.
Yeah.
All right. Chiefs.
Really quick, I'm sorry. A side note. I totally wanted Kirk Cousins back in the 2012 draft where we drafted Russell Wilson. I was really hoping that the Seahawks would draft Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you remember that or not. But
I don't remember. I was hoping we would get RG3.
Yeah, same with everybody. Literally, probably every team wanted RG3.
Yeah, I liked RG3. I still like RG3, even though he's not very good.
Oh, he's so bad.
I wouldn't mind, dude. If Russell Wilson got hurt and somehow didn't play, if he got his heart torn out of his body and was forced to sit on the sideline, you could bring him in and have him and Boykin battle for the backup spot, and Austin Davis holds down the fort for a while.
Oh, I was the backup spot. It's Austin Davis is the backup.
Right, I'm saying then Austin
backup
Davis
to Austin Davis. You might as well just make John Ryan the quarterback at that point. If Austin Davis goes down, dude, season over. We're done. See ya. Oh, we could call up Tavares Jackson.
God, no, please.
Dude.
He's
the coin flip master.
He went off the deep end, dude.
I know. He pointed a gun at his fiancée, and do you know what she said to him? She said, "I hope you're accurate with that, because you sure ain't accurate on the field." She straight up said that to him with a gun pointed to her face. That's how confident she was that he was either A, not going to shoot, or 2, he was going to miss.
Oh my God.
I was man, she roasted him, dude, with a gun to her face.
The Thug Life glasses.
Yeah, the deal with the glasses, dude. Yeah. Anyways. So what's the game after this? Oh God.
The Chiefs and the Cowboys.
Chiefs. Yeah, especially with Zeke being out. If Zeke was still in, then I would be more hesitant because the Cowboys would. I mean, well, the Chiefs' defense hasn't really been all that great.
It hasn't been great, but
And if the Cowboys, if they had Zeke, they could control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, and they could actually. I think that they would have a chance to beat the Chiefs.
They would have a chance, but I trust the Chiefs way more offensively. Well, yeah. That Cowboys offense is just so like.
It wasn't when Zeke was rolling, man. Oh man, those were
right. Well, when Zeke is playing, it's like a little bit more fun to watch. But it's like
I thought it was great. As somebody who owned Zeke, it was amazing.
For just like for me, it's just I don't know. I get bored watching the Cowboys because it's just like. It's just the same.
Is it just like watching the Panthers?
No, it's definitely more fun than watching the. I mean, I like watching the Panthers because I don't like Cam Newton, so I can watch him throw picks all game. But I just get bored with the. I don't know. I get bored of watching Dak Prescott throw the same passes over and over and over and over again. Like it's always the same little like. Fake hand it off to Zeke and then throw it to Jason Witten up the seam or throw it to Dez Bryant one-on-one on the... Like, it's just this same pass over and over again, and I get bored of it.
Yeah. This game, I'm still going to watch it because Tony Romo's commentating it.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Him and Jim Nantz. Yeah, I'm interested. I hope he just calls out Dak on every bad play he makes. Like...
I wouldn't make that play.
Like, I just can't wait for him to be like, Dak, you gotta throw it to this spot in this situation. Look, when you see that linebacker sneaking his way up, you gotta know that means he's gonna blitz. And if he does, then you gotta throw it to Jason Witten because he's gonna be right there at the first down marker. Yeah, and it's gonna be great it's just gonna be awesome to watch him.
Yeah, I feel like Tony Romo, I mean, he already calls all the plays for teams anyways. So I feel like he's just gonna know every play that they call and just be like, oh, I know exactly what they're doing here.
Yeah, it's, I guess Dak Prescott was asked about like, oh well, what if Romo's really hard on you up in the booth? And Dak pretty much said like, oh, I hope he is. I expect him to be. So I mean, it's. Yeah, that's why I'm gonna watch it. That and the Chiefs are just fun to watch in general.
Chiefs are fun.
It'll be interesting to see the running situation for the Cowboys to see who's getting more carries or who's more effective is going to be the more telling factor. Who does more with what they're given? So I'll take the Chiefs in this one for sure. But it is an intriguing game to watch for multiple reasons.
Yeah. And then we have the last two games here. Raiders versus Dolphins. What do you think?
No, I don't want to pick either of them, but I'll definitely take the Raiders just because they're better. But just like barely.
Yeah, I'll take the Raiders too, just because I have more faith in Derek Carr than I do in Jay Cutler. Oakland defense is definitely exposable, but their pass rush is good, so they
still have Khalil Mack.
Yeah, they still have Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin and what's his name? It's not Mario Edwards Jr.
He's definitely nothing to write home about. But...
Well, right, but I mean, it's just nothing to write home. Okay, but like. They have pieces for pass rushing, so I think they'll be fine. I think they'll win this game. It shouldn't really be close, but I don't know. The Raiders have found a way this year.
Yeah.
And then the last game of the week, we have the Lions and the Packers on Monday night, which is probably going to be a way better matchup if Aaron Rodgers was playing. So, without Aaron Rodgers playing, I'm definitely taking the Lions.
Yeah, me too. Even though the Lions don't really have a running game, or at least a consistent one, Golden Tate's healthy again.
Yep.
He's coming back.
Marvin Jones has been playing well.
Marvin Jones is playing well. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take the Lions as well because the Packers defense just isn't all that great, and
It's pretty bad.
I would definitely look for Matt Stafford to take advantage of it. And if you need a sneaky play in fantasy, go with Kenny Golladay, the third string receiver for the Detroit Lions.
It's the second week in a row we've said that, and he was out.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he's still questionable.
Well, if he plays, he'd be I think he's a sneaky good play this week.
And if you haven't already, pick up Josh Gordon.
Yeah, Josh Gordon's back, and he's gonna light the world on fire in December. He's gonna light it up.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna smoke the defenders.
He's just gonna make him... I can't think of a joke. Alright, so that's all the time we have for the podcast this week. So thank you for watching. I don't know if you have anything you want to throw in here at the end.
I'm really tired, and I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, I feel it. It's currently 11:37 p.m., so we're a little goofy.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. Just thanks for, if you somehow made it to the end of this, thanks for listening. And one of these days, one of our viewers will finally comment on something. I need to just say that at the beginning of the video because people probably don't even make it to the end of these. But if
I can check in analytics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun. It's like, oh, they made it 5 minutes in and then they turned it off. Okay.
They literally just wanted to see who won and they didn't feel like looking it up on the NFL page.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week, whether you like it or not. And
because we like it.
Yeah, honestly. Really mostly just for our enjoyment anyways.
Yeah, and
just
then we tell you guys... And then we tell you guys, hey, this is what's happening.
I mean, we talk about football for an hour before we even start this podcast.
It's true.
So, I mean, this is mostly just a reason for us to record it. And, if something happens with it, great. If it doesn't, whatever. We're going to talk about it anyways. And it's an excuse for us to get together and, have some time to talk about football. It'll be good stuff. Oh, I will say that... Isaiah's turning 21 this weekend, so...
Oh, yeah. So by the time this comes out, I will probably be drunk.
Isaiah will hopefully be trashed and doing karaoke of Boston, more than likely, and...
I don't know the words to Boston song. I could probably do More Than a Feeling. That one's...
Okay, well, let's end it with this. Isaiah, what is your prediction for the first song you plan on karaokeing? Do you have any idea?
Oh, boy.
Have you even thought about your game plan?
Yeah, I have. Not very seriously. I could see some Bon Jovi just because my mom hates Bon Jovi. So, she'll be there.
I would have never guessed. She hates Bon Jovi?
Yeah, she doesn't like Bon Jovi. Drives her nuts. So, I might sing some Bon Jovi just to make her mad. And also because I like Bon Jovi, so whatever. I just don't want to sing anything that I really would want to sound good at. Maybe I'd start depending on when I start singing, how many drinks I've had. So if I still feel good, I could sing all right, I might sing a song that I could sound good at. But
well, I'm gonna let you know right now that the more you drink, the more confident you're gonna get in your voice.
Right, and I'm aware of that. So if I do it early. That I'll know it's not the alcohol that's making me confident. So if I had to pick one song, it's probably going to be You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi.
Are you going to sing it low Shot Through the Heart? Or are you going to be Shot Through the Heart?
Of course I'm going to sing it high. Are you kidding me? I'm no pansy.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be awesome. try to stay coherent until at least like 9:30. That'd be great because I have to freaking work that day.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not even going to be able to. I'm definitely coming to join you after I get off work. But
yeah, it's not far from your work where we're going to be.
okay.
So. Either way.
So on that note, yeah. By the time this comes out, hopefully Isaiah's trashed and.
Hopefully.
Then, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, you're able to wake up on Sunday at a reasonable time to watch some football,
and probably to do homework.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thanks
for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Philbrook Football Podcast.